know. I'm not putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm
fine.
just asking you, use your faculty of reasoning to give me a plausible answer, an alternative, because we have already ruled these two out. That the universe cannot create itself, it cannot come from nothing.
You know,
give me something that works for you.
That it created itself and it came from nothing. It's really, I'm not.
Oh, we ruled that out already.
Yeah, I mean, you might think that I'm illogical for thinking that, and like that's completely fine. There's like plenty of Jesus Christ. Okay, wow. Not in like a literal sense. It's like, you know, just sort of like a right. I'm not happy with my image being distributed anywhere, and I understand that, you know, maybe this is like a big operation for you, and you do this.
Yeah, it's a public place.
Yeah, no, it's a public place, but like I'd prefer it if you didn't.
Okay.
Hello.
Why are you saying hello then?
Because I just cameras, I guess.
I thought he doesn't like it. Now he's saying hello.
No,
it's like you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying it. It's just sort of, it's just a bit weird, you know.
It's not weird in Speaker's Corner. You know this is Speaker's Corner, right?
Yeah, I know this is Speaker's Corner. I've never.
Is it your first time here?
It's my first time. It's just really overwhelming.
It's not. You look quite comfortable.
I'm not comfortable. It's just sort of, you know, you've got every religion, every diet, every state.
Yeah.
Just all sort of shouting at each other.
Oh, we're not shouting at each other, are we?
I mean, you have to speak loudly. Everyone's talking. So.
Well, we don't need to speak loudly. I mean, we got microphones that pick up your whispers if you want.
Okay.
So the question, look, all we're asking is to question your environment, to question your existence, and there's nothing wrong in that. This place is a place which kind of celebrates freedom of speech.
Yeah, I know.
And we are speaking.
Yeah, we're speaking.
So there's nothing wrong in that, is that?
Is the Quran written in verse or prose?
It's got its own genre. That's the beauty of the Quran.
It's not a genre question.
But prose and poetry is...
Poetry is a genre, but prose is a form.
Yeah.
So we're speaking in prose, but like our conversation is void of genre.
Yeah.
So does the Quran...
It's got its own...
Does it have meter? Does it... How do you...
It's got its own, what do you say, category if you want to call it.
Okay.
There's nothing like the Quran which is written, which was proclaimed or recited before.
Okay.
And it's the reason is because it's a speech or the message of God.
I know it's
a message directly from God.
Okay.
That's the difference between revelation and inspiration.
Okay.
Because poetry and prose can be inspirations, whereas a revelation is a direct message from God to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So, in Christianity, Christians believe that we're all made in the image of God. Is that the same in Islam?
What do you understand by that statement?
So God looks like human beings.
No, even the Christians don't believe that.
Yeah, they do.
I think it's more to do with there are certain things, there are certain similarities, but they vary in degrees.
Okay.
For example, you can hear and see. God can hear and see.
Okay.
That doesn't mean God has to look like you.
Okay.
See what I mean?
So what do you think God looks like?
We don't know.
Okay, you don't know what God looks like.
No.
I mean, some Christians also don't know what God looks like, but because there's no specific prohibition of creating images of God in Catholic Christianity at least, there's lots of images of God.
It's actually the second commandment, not to create graven images of your Lord.
Yeah, there is the second commandment, but in the Catholic Church over history, that's proven to be very loose. Like you've got
they have probably they don't follow that second commandment.
Yeah, they don't.
Or they don't have issues with having nude idols in the Vatican.
Yeah.
I've been to the Vatican actually, and I've seen a lot of things which shouldn't be in a religious place over there. And that's quite. But that's a Catholics are a different kettle of fish.
They're a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
I just forgot what I was going to say.
So let me ask you: do you believe in? I know you don't kind of believe in God, but do you think there's a possibility there's a God?
Yes, but there's also a possibility that when I come home in my house, I will find £10 lying around behind the sofa.
Well, the £10 will go so much, but if you have God, then it's your eternal salvation.
I mean, that's a non sequitur. Me saying the possibility of God existing is the same as me finding £10 behind the sofa. It's just sort of
apples and oranges.
It's the same. It's a random possibility.
No, it's not a random possibility. Like I asked you, when I asked you about the universe, you didn't have a plausible answer.
Yeah, it's just sort of.
So your solution is okay. Let's just ignore it.
Yeah. You just ignore
if that is the case, so let me ask you something.
Okay.
If you die, and there is a real God and a real life after death, then what?
Well, I haven't killed anyone.
And
So,
what does that mean?
well, I'm not a murderer. I haven't committed adultery.
Right. Do you know what is the biggest sin in Islam?
What's the biggest sin?
It's not murder and adultery
Okay.
or even rape.
Okay.
The biggest sin is to disobey and to reject God.
Okay.
That is the biggest thing, shirk. So shirk is in a way you reject God, you associate partners with Him. All this constitutes the biggest sin in Islam.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because God has given you life. Even though you don't believe in Him, you go about your daily life quite happily, I would say.
Yeah.
You breathe in, breathe out the air that God has given you.
Yeah.
The sustenance that is given you, you enjoy that. Yes. But then you don't show any gratitude for any of that.
Okay.
Yes. Now imagine you're working for an employer.
Okay.
And then instead of showing gratitude to the person who pays your wages,
I mean, I don't
who
really
looks
show-
after you,
I personally don't show gratitude to my employer because I'm a Marxist.
but you don't have a job.
I have a job. Marxists can have jobs. It's just, I don't have a personal relationship with my employer.
Would you betray your employer?
I don't betray my employer.
That's what I meant by-
fulfill my
that's where I was going.
I fulfill my contractual obligations to do my work to a good enough standard in exchange for, money because they own the means of production.
That's what I call obedience.
Okay.
So you are in obedience to your employer.
I guess I am.
Yeah.
But that's 'cause
So
I'm actually paid.
the reason I gave this analogy is to show you that if you are disobedient to the employer who feeds you,
Yeah.
who gives you wages, yes, and because of whom you have a good life, then it would be unfair, would it not, if you're disobedient to your employer?
I mean, with my employer personally, I don't think it would be that unfair, but that's because I have my own issues with them. But I guess in terms of the analogy,
I meant disobedience.
yeah,
What I meant by disobedience is like, for example, let's say there is some trade secrets that your employer wants you to guard
Okay.
as being a part of the employment, part of the company, and then you go and deceive or kind of backstab your employer and give the information, inside information to your competitors. Would that be something your employer would be happy with?
no,
Okay, so that's what I meant by disobedience.
Okay.
So you have signed a contract, which means, I'm sure which has got a lot of clause,
Yeah.
the do's and the don'ts.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the whole idea. So when you are living a life to the fullest, like you are, then I think it would be similarly unfair to the one who created you, who gave you the sustenance. And this, we believe, is God Almighty.
Okay.
Yes? So the universe just didn't pop into existence from nowhere.
Okay.
Yes? So there's actually a scientific method to this. It's called inference.
Okay.
Where, for example, if you...
inference and the scientific method are different things.
Well, it's part of the scientific method.
Not really.
Are you saying no scientists use inference?
I'd say they use hypothesis,
Yeah.
not inference. You can infer from a hypothesis, but it's not necessarily.
So if you can infer, that's the whole idea of inference.
Yeah.
So they give
But
you a
it's like-
hypothesis so you can infer from it.
I mean, a sandwich, isn't just the ham, it's the bread and the butter and the lettuce and whatever. So, they're not necessarily.
Yeah, but inference, I don't think any scientist will say, oh, in science you can't use inference or deduction. Okay, it's all part of science, I'm telling
The
you.
experiment has to, inform your inference.
Yeah.
When you get.
So the experiment which I was, not experiment, more like the inference which I was alluding to here, since the universe cannot create itself, since it didn't come from nothing, the only other possible explanation is there must be a necessary being who brought this into existence.
Okay.
What do you make of that? A necessary being, which means that necessary being is not dependent or contingent on anyone else.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting a phone call.
Yeah. Or you can take the Quran, you can read it at home.
Yeah, no, I'll
no
read it
problem.
at home, it's
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So
What does your God think about climate change?
climate change.
Yeah.
Well, first you need to believe in God before you ask what He thinks about X,
Well,
Y, and
you
Z.
believe in God, right?
Yeah, I do.
So you can tell me.
Okay, what do you mean by climate change?
Human beings having an impact on the planet, burning fossil fuels, trashing the environment.
Oh yeah, abuse of the climate?
Yeah.
Definitely a no-no.
Okay. What does your God think about tolerating other gods in the neighborhood?
Oh, we don't believe in any other gods. So there's no question of other gods.
So what does?
These are all made up by men.
Oh, okay.
So it's like me saying, what do you think of the unicorn that you imagined?
Okay.
Do I care? It doesn't exist.
All right.
Okay? So for me, the only existence out there which is real is the creator who created all of us and all of this existence, and He's the Almighty God, and besides Him there is no God. In fact, you know, when somebody comes into Islam, they actually recite this, can call it a formula, or this particular, which we call the Shahada, and this is, there is no God besides Allah. There is no God worthy of worship except Allah.
What does your God think of, you know, how does your God tell you to act when you meet someone who has a different religion to you and is very happy with that religion?
We guide them towards the truth, because we know what they consider as the truth is not the truth.
Okay.
The reason for that is because, look, if you pick up any religion, I don't know if you've studied any.
I have.
You will, which one have you studied?
Catholicism and Judaism.
Okay,
So a GCSE level, which is the equivalent of like high school in the UK.
all right. So with regards to Catholicism, they believe in the Trinity.
Yeah.
What's your view with regards to that?
I mean, they believe that, and it's a concept in their religion, and I had to learn it for an exam to get good grades.
Yeah, I didn't ask what they think about it, I asked what you think about it.
I don't believe in God at all.
I know, but even then you asked me these questions. Okay? The reason I asked if you've studied any religion is because you're somehow making this assumption that there are other religions which could be true.
I mean, yeah, that could be.
There could be religions out there from all these religions who have who contradict each other.
Yeah.
Like for example, Judaism and Christianity. Yes, in one religion they completely reject Jesus, Judaism. In the other religion, Christianity, they put Jesus equal to God, the other extreme. What do Muslims do? We neither reject nor put him to the status of God.
Okay.
We worship, respect him as someone who is a servant of God, who is one of the mightiest messengers of God, and he's the Messiah as well.
Okay.
Okay? So we take a position which is neither rejecting Jesus nor raising him to the level of God.
Okay, I think we've kind of gone down the wrong. What I really want to know,
Yeah.
how does your God tell you to act when you meet? So when you said guide's a very like loose term. What does guide constitute to you? How would you guide someone? Is it a personal thing, or are there rules, or is there?
That's the rule book.
Okay.
That's where the guidance is.
Where?
In the Quran.
Where?
All of it.
All of it?
Yes.
All of it at once.
Open any page and you'll
So-
find the guidance there.
So if I read one page.
Go on. Read any page, you'll find guidance there.
Okay.
Inshallah.
No, but like when you say guidance on.
Guidance means showing you what you should do in your life.
Okay.
For example, it shows you just like your contract, it has the do's and the don'ts,
Okay.
which we call the halal and the haram.
So I only need to read. So in theory, I only need to read one if it's all in there, and it doesn't matter if I read one of it.
No, you don't pick
page.
and choose.
Okay.
You take the whole package.
I take that. So I have to read all of it.
Yeah.
But
When you
if-
sign the contract, did you say I don't like this clause?
Okay.
For your employment, no, you didn't.
Pardon
You had
me,
to
I believe
you had to
you
sign the whole thing to
So
get the
is-
job.
So is there a specific? So it's a book, right? It's a book. There has to be verses in the book. It's not all about the same thing all at once.
No.
There's a narrative to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Where in the book, right, does it have the rules on how to interact with people who have a different religion to you?
It tells you, for example, there are people who are pagans.
That's a different.
I haven't even finished yet.
Is there a chapter?
Yeah, chapter 2,
Okay.
Surah Al-Baqarah.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you. That's what I was trying to.
No
find.
problem.
Thanks.
So it talks about people who used to worship idols.
Yeah.
And Allah tells them that these do not benefit you. These are the things which your forefathers named. Even the names that they gave to these idols, they are actually the names your forefathers invented.
Okay.
And it's nothing to do with the truth. So Allah is calling the people back to the truth and identify the true God to have eternal salvation. Say for example, look, one day we all will die.
Yeah.
Yes? You know that, I know that. Regardless of whether you believe or disbelieve God.
Okay.
Okay? Now the question is, what happens if there truly is God and there truly is life after death? Are you just going to say, I don't care?
Yeah.
So you don't care about, do you know anything about risk factors?
Yes.
So do you take a lot of risk in your life?
Yes.
Right? And have you been bitten by that risk?
Yes.
Okay. Shows you why you shouldn't take risk unnecessarily.
What's the risk if I don't believe in God?
If you don't believe in God and you die upon that,
Okay.
yes, provided you understood the message,
Yeah.
and then you deliberately reject it,
Yeah.
then the end result for that is hellfire.
What kind of it's like, so
Trust me, any kind of hellfire is bad.
My mum's
You don't have to say
Spain,
which kind.
40-degree heat. I'm very
Any
white.
kind.
My dad's Irish. I burn a lot.
Bro,
Factor
any
50.
kind of hellfire.
What kind of hellfire?
Any kind of hellfire.
Literal fire, metaphorical fire.
No, literal.
Literal fire.
Yes.
Like 100 degrees Fahrenheit fire.
How much can you tolerate? Have you tried it?
No.
But guy taking risk, I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Well, we won't know until
Have
we
you
get
tried?
there,
Have you?
so-
Would you ever try jumping into a fire?
Yes.
Okay, I think we know the kind of
Anyone
person
who's
you're.
watching, I endorse jumping into fires, lighting matches, wearing polyester and going near open fireplaces.
Brother?
Eat lava, light scented candles and just leave them.
Yeah. Brother, please don't have children.
I'm gay. I will not have biological children.
Okay, good. So even for a gay person, taking risk is illogical.
Not really.
Really?
It's not
Do the
illogical.
other gays agree with him? Well, I think they'll disagree with you.
What, I just...
Would you actually tell? Let's say you had a child.
Yes.
Yes. Would you tell them to jump into the fire?
They wanted to.
I think you need to see a doctor.
I'd love to, but the government that we have right now isn't paying them enough, so there's
Well, you got a job,
I do have a job.
so seek some help,
Absolutely not.
professional help.
Because it's the...
Because if you're telling people to jump into fire,
Okay.
then there is something definitely wrong with you.
All right.
Regardless of your sexual orientation.
Right. What's your God's view on the government doing things to help people?
I think you need to read this book
I would prefer it if you
and then
told
come and
me.
talk.
Okay.
Okay? Because right now, look, what's happening is like, doesn't matter what
Yeah,
answer
no,
I
we're
give
going-
you.
we're going in a
No,
big
no.
circle.
It doesn't matter what answers I give you.
Yes.
If you're just going to reject everything, it's pointless, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And that's the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe take life seriously.
No.
Okay? Because one day, when you are in a situation where you have to take life seriously, you will reflect back on this
Okay.
and,
I don't take life
and
not
remember.
seriously. If I was in court, I would take court seriously because I can, you're physically in the courtroom and you can see the presence of the law.
Oh, you only fear punishment.
I don't fear punishment. I wouldn't be disrespectful in a court of law that has, grounding over.
Do you work in law?
I don't work in law. I work in a warehouse.
In a warehouse?
But it's only a gap year job. I want to go to university next year.
Okay, that's fine, no problem. So maybe once you graduate, then hopefully come and have a discussion.
What degree should I do based on the Quran? Just off the top of your head.
Islam. Anything to do with Islam.
Well, theology?
Well, you asked me from the Quran. What do you expect me to answer him?
No, I'm just. But there's there's no degree.
Of course, there's lots of degrees in
There's lots
theology.
of degrees. There's lots of degrees in Islam. But should I take theology with Islam or theology with a?
Yeah, I think theology and Islam,
Okay.
good combination. That way you can see from the Islamic perspective how it treats others, other people of other faith. One thing, I don't know if you, maybe you should go and listen to the last sermon of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where he actually gives you a lot of information, maybe which might help you. For example, he says, the black are no better than the white, and the white are no better than the black. The Arab is no better than the non-Arab, and non-Arab is no better than the Arab. Which is showing you that you should be respectful to everyone, but at the same time, the one in the sight of God Almighty that really stands out, or the one that God really prefers, is the one who is God conscious. What does that mean? It doesn't mean you just sit in the mosque and pray all day, no. Being good to your neighbor, even if he's someone like you, who is free, taking lots of risks and not believing in God. If you're my neighbor, my religion teaches me to be nice to you.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
And also, if you go to sleep hungry and I don't, then I'm not a good Muslim. Yes?
Yes.
This is the level of education about treating other people, which our faith, which Islam gives you. But at the same time, it doesn't mean like if your enemy is coming to attack you, you let them walk over you. Okay? We have the right to self-defense as well.
Okay.
Right? And the same goes with anything else. For example, there are many things which are prohibited in Islam. You probably know them.
Yeah.
Yes? Alcohol.
The usual alcohol, pork,
Yeah, drugs, all these
usual
things.
other stuff that's-
Fornication,
fornication,
adultery,
murder, adultery.
and all these things. Yes, all these things. If you look at all of them, if you study, for example, alcohol, earlier I was having a discussion with another atheist guy, and he says to me, I will believe everything the scientists tell me, because I only believe in scientism, in a way. And then I asked him, okay, so if science tells you that alcohol is bad for you, what do you do then? He goes, he tried to say that, I look for another scientist who tells me that if I drink wine, it's good for my heart. See what I mean? So it doesn't matter what, human beings are selfish. They will look for the selfish, whatever their needs are. Okay? So even if the most logical argument or the most logical scientist out there tells you with all the research in the field, and they have actually done a research about alcohol. I think it was a 30-year study, and they found out that no level of alcohol is safe.
Okay.
Right? But do you see anybody listening to them?
No.
Including those people who profess they only believe in science. Even they will abandon science because of their own selfish requirements and needs. Okay?
Okay. It's just a firework.
Okay, yeah, it's a firework. So, yeah, and the same thing with adultery, the same thing with fornication, you know, because adultery, what happens is like if you are a happily married couple and all of a sudden, because of your own selfish needs, you go and desire another woman to whom you're not married and you wreck this marriage. And it destroys the children and destroys everything. Yes? Do you know anyone who is divorced?
Yeah.
Yes? How is their life?
It's all right.
All right?
Yeah.
So they're happy? They have children?
Yeah, they have children.
Right? The children are happy?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's an exception,
Yeah,
but
no.
most of the time, many of the marriages which break down, yes, the children suffer,
Okay.
the spouse suffers, yes, and there's a lot of problems.
Okay.
And this is all because of maybe something like they had alcohol and abused the spouse, or they had an extramarital affair, yes, which brought them to that situation. Or maybe gambling. You know, gambling is another thing which is forbidden or haram in Islam.
Okay.
So all the things which are forbidden in Islam, all of them, they make sense.
Is it okay if I keep asking you questions about what is and what isn't allowed?
Yeah, are you okay to be on camera now?
Yeah, I'm okay to be on camera.
Alhamdulillah.
I still fully
We converted him.
Fire everywhere. Set everything on fire now.
Ignore that. The guy's crazy
No,
when he
I'm not-
says that.
I'm not crazy. You're boring. Right. Women's access to abortions.
Yeah, what do you say about that?
I think it is legal and medical rights.
Right,
I think every woman should have access to the healthcare that they desire.
right. So would you be okay if your mother aborted you?
Well, I wouldn't know because I wouldn't be alive.
Exactly. Would that make a difference to the world?
No.
So you're basically pointless
Yes.
existence.
Yes.
Are you a nihilist?
Maybe.
He's a nihilist. We don't get that many here. But hold on, if your whole life is purposeless,
Yeah.
why do you do anything at all?
Well, I put my coat on so I'm not cold. I
Right.
eat so I do not die.
Why
and
do-
also being hungry is
Why do you go to uni?
Why do I go to uni? I like books. I like being alive.
Yeah, but you don't need to go to uni to like books.
Yeah, well, I want to.
Why?
Because I do.
No, but you said your life doesn't have a purpose.
Well, I want to.
What's the purpose then?
Well, I just want to.
Okay, but I thought you said it was because of the books.
Well, I like
So there's a
reading.
purpose, come on.
What,
Everything has a purpose.
Like, does it?
It does.
Does it really?
Yes.
Okay.
Give me any part of your body that doesn't have a purpose.
Appendix.
Okay, actually they do have a purpose.
What's the purpose of my appendix?
You have to go and ask the scientists
But are
about
you a-
this.
a bit
I'm
like-
not a scientist.
Oh, okay.
But they have found reasons that why the appendix is necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a skin tag on my
What's that?
ear. This is a little pointless part of my body, and I don't know why it exists. I could get it removed if I wanted to.
Yeah, but when I say your body, obviously the body that
The whole- all of it.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah, the organs, all the things. Yeah,
Okay.
everything has a purpose. I mean, a simple thing like your eyebrows have a purpose.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
It stops sweat getting in your eyes.
And your eyelashes have purpose.
Yeah.
So everything has a purpose. Doesn't matter what. Why would you not have a purpose then? As a person.
It's just like, I mean, do you have a purpose as a person?
Yes, I do. I'm a Muslim.
Okay.
My purpose in life is for me to be obedient to God.
doesn't
And
that-
because of that obedience,
Okay.
like I explained to you about the things which are forbidden, for which makes sense to us, taking care of your neighbors, all that for me forms a part of my obedience to God.
Okay. Does that not?
But why do you not have a purpose? I really want to know.
It just sort
If
of.
everything in your body has a purpose, why do you as an individual not have a purpose?
Well, because I get to, and it's my choice to not have a purpose. It's just.
No, I don't think, look, there's a difference between choice.
Okay.
You know when you wake up every morning,
Yeah.
is there a reason you need to wake up?
Need a shit.
Sorry?
I need to do a poo.
Is that the purpose in your life?
I can't poo in my bed.
Of course you
Gross.
can't, but
Yeah.
what I meant is, the reason I asked you that question is not that you go to the poo, which is your need, which you have no choice but to go to poo, whether you like it or not. So that's not your purpose, that's your need.
Okay.
You see,
Yeah.
to eat is your need.
Okay.
To feed yourself is a need, otherwise you will die.
Okay.
Yeah? To drink water is a need.
Great.
In fact, to go to the poo is also a need.
Fantastic.
There you go. So
Yeah.
once again, what is the purpose in your life?
Just sort of is.
Why do you wake up every morning?
Because you know, it's just the sun's nice. I like to see my friends. I like to play music. I like
Right.
reading. like coming to London. I like our democracy. I like that people can come here and just shout at each other.
Sorry, you like democracy?
Yeah.
You're a Marxist who likes democracy.
Marxism and democracy are, they're not mutually exclusive.
Okay, but do they always like democracy?
In previous examples, no.
By the way, do you know Karl Marx used to come here?
Yeah.
Speaker's Corner. He
Yeah,
used to
he
come
did.
here.
He went everywhere.
For those who didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, look. All I'm saying is that if there is a life after that, remember I told you about burning in hellfire, but there is the other part as well. Would you not like to be in paradise if there was one? If you had a choice between hell and heaven, which one will you pick?
Well, I feel like I'd have to have like a sample first to make an informed decision. You know when you go to an ice cream shop and they give you little spoons?
Have you never sampled fire?
Yes.
How did it feel?
Hot.
Did you like it?
After a bit, yeah.
Oh, really? Shall we try it now?
Yeah,
Anyone got a lighter?
Has anyone got a lighter?
He likes burning things. Let's see, burn yourself. You want. You know why? Because for you, your life is very dear. And I know this without you telling me.
Okay.
Okay?
All
So
right.
you'll never burn yourself. Neither would you want to burn someone who is dear to you. Be it your family member, be it your child. That's another kettle of fish. So. So what I'm saying is that realistically, which one would you prefer? A place of bliss or a place of torture?
Well, I can't know until I've had both.
Torture.
Okay.
You don't need to know torture. It's bad.
Okay.
Okay, is torture good or bad?
Bad, probably.
Probably.
I really.
You're a joking, honestly.
There's a lot of.
And maybe you enjoy some sort of torture. I don't know. You got some, I don't know, what's it called? Some sort of fetish or something that you enjoy. No, he doesn't actually.
I took a free Quran. I mean, I was interested in how it's been translated into English. I like languages, and I didn't know that was indicative of my greater purpose on this planet. But it's reassuring that maybe it is.
No, but look, honestly, like if you had a choice in life to fail or to succeed, you would pick success over failure, would you not?
Well, I'd have to have both to know. So
you are a lost case. Honestly.
maybe I am. That's okay.
Yeah, I do know. He doesn't care. he doesn't care either way. So look, if success and failure itself is a problem for you. Okay. What's your name, by the way?
I'm George.
George.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. George, nice speaking to you.
Nice speaking to you too.
But hopefully, once you graduate, we would like to see you again. Maybe, university does great things.
If I haven't